Hello again. I said I'd do a standing one eventually, and here it is. A little bit of stretch, a little bit of balance. We'll see how we go. So take it easy, pick simpler options, and think about careful placing, just watching for our spines and our knees. So nice and easy to start. Hope everybody's keeping well. We're just going to breathe in, nice and easily, letting those arms float while we're thinking about our rib cages, expanding out, broad across our backs and the back of our ribs. Nice and steady. Arms easy in the shoulder joint. Just taking a nice, slow breath in, deepening that breath. And as we do, just thinking about lengthening up through our spine, beginning to feel a little bit of tension holding our abdominal. Nice and still. So we're going to take a bigger breath and a lovely circle. And breathe in and circle. And this time as we do our breath, we're just going to bend the knees, pull our belly button back, curve the spine a little bit, and then reach up. And breathe. And up. And breathe. And mobilizing that spine, getting things moving. One more. And relax. And we're going to go to one arm. We're just going to take one arm around a nice circle. Let the body and the head follow. Breathing and around. Let yourself look around to the side. So we get a little bit of a twist going in there. Let the weight of the arm help with the circle. And around and up. We're going to add in a little step with it. And step. And step as we swing. And side. And side. And two more. Each side. Swing and swing. And resting it back to the center. Just re-establishing that position. Lots of weight on our feet. Wide spread toes. Think about hips above the ankles, shoulders above the hips, and feel that slight lift through those abdominals. No tension. Chin drop gently in. We're going to just rock gently, transferring the weight from one foot as if the other one was going to float off. Keeping a little breathing going. Good. So we're going to make that a little bit bigger and just let that leg float this time, just off the floor and just off the floor. Back to the center each time, floating that leg off. This is going to feel like a side leg lift, so we're transferring the weight and then we're going to lift that leg, keeping pulled up through the center. We're not leaning too much, we're thinking upwards as we change. Up, out the top of our head. Feel that tightness down the side. Press the heel away and flex that foot. Back to the center and the other one. Little push. And back. Little push. And back. We're going to take a hold for a moment on this one and just bring those hands behind our head. Elbows open wide. We're going to keep pressing into that heel. We're just going to tip a tiny little bit over to the side and pulse the leg. 2, 3, 4, and back. And the other one. Tilting over, reaching out, heel pushes away, elbow reaches towards the heel, and a little pulse, leg and waist. 2, 3, 4, and back. So we're going to go back to that leg lift and bring it in front of us. And leg side and front. So take this as slowly as you need. Toe can stay on the ground. Stay on the ground if you need. Or we lift and bring it up. We're going to add in the arms. Arms come out and arms come up. Arms come out. Arms come up. Take that head up if you feel secure. Wide and lift. And wide. You can point the toe this time if you want. And point. And lift. And wide. And lift. One last one. Wide. And lift. And wide. And lift. So those hips should feel like they've been moving a bit. My mat's moving. We're going to take the waist and the upper body and leave those hips be for a little while. We're going to take our prayer position for some twists. So we want shoulders relaxed down the sides of the body. Elbows open, heels of the hands together, thumbs center with that sternum. We're going to breathe in and twist. So we're trying to twist the top of the body through the waist and around. Breathe in to prepare, out to twist. In to prepare. Trying to keep those knees facing forwards and those pelvises facing forwards. Breathing out as you twist. Growing with the in-breath. Out as you twist. We're going to add a knee into this. So next time we're in the middle, we're going to take one heel, lifting it off the floor, and then twist towards that leg and back. Same the other way. Heel and twist. Heel and twist. So you've got something to lever yourself a little bit. As that knee presses forwards, you're twisting in towards it. If you want, you can stick with this with the toes on the ground, or let that toe come off as you twist. Off. Twist. If you want, stay with it little, or bring that knee right up and down. Twist. Try not to take any tension in the shoulders. Keep those faces easy and relaxed. Feel that back shoulder blade pulling you backwards. Keep those hands to the center of the chest. Don't let them do the work. Make sure it's the spine. All those deep spine muscles supporting around the spine. One more each side. Whichever leg you didn't start with. And back to the centre. Just going to let those arms swing a little bit and take those legs out a bit wider. So we've got a medium stretch out with the legs. We're going to bend the knees. So this is not a squat, it's dropping those hips straight down between the heels, watching those knees and thighs, feeling as if someone is pressing your thighs backwards by squeezing the glutes. And we're just going to let those arms swing, a little bounce. Get those legs warmed up. Hips and knees and ankles. You can let the head drop a bit and lift and go a little bit slower if you want. And the last one. And back up and relax. So we're going to stick with legs out. We're going to take them a bit wider. We're going to go into a warrior. So we're going to turn, if you're facing me, that left foot inwards so the toes face forwards, pushing up through the instep into the outside of the foot. We're going to point the toes to the other end of the mat in our right foot, and we're going to sink down into that lunge. We're trying to keep our hip bones, headlights facing forwards. And we're going to take our arms out into that wide lunge. Pushing into the outside of the foot, sinking through the hips. Hips are going down in the middle, they're not right over the toes. Just going to reach those arms up and sink a little deeper. And just stay in this position for a moment. Sink a little deeper. And then we're going to reach those arms wide. We're going to reach back towards that left and out towards the right. Feeling as if those arms are pulling across the room. One more. Reaching, feeling it in the waist and out. This time when we're out to that right, over that bent knee, we're going to stay there. We're going to drop our hand or our forearm to the knee. We're going to bring one arm up and reach over. So this is our left arm reaching over to our right. Try not to let that shoulder get in the way. We're going to reach as low as we can. If this arm is in the way, drop it down in front of that knee if you can. If you need a bit of support, that's fine. What we don't want is that top hip poking up. We want to drop that down and feel a long line from our back foot all the way up to those fingers. Reaching out. Drop a little bit lower if you can. And we're going to turn around. We're going to bring our bodies around over our thigh. Tuck those back toes under and come into a nice long lunge. So option is knee on the ground, toes untucked if that's an uncomfortable position. We're going to put our left hand by our right foot and we're going to twist towards that bent knee, keeping that bottom as low as we can. Looking up towards that top hand and back in. We're going to keep those hands firmly on the floor now. We're going back into a press up position. Back leg into a nice press up. If you want, take a little dip through those elbows. Knees are always an option here on the floor. We're going to press into down dog, pushing up nice and tall. We're going to stay in this position, sinking those chests, dropping into the heels, tailbone as high as you can. And then we're going to just walk those hands back towards the feet, hang over
Relax those bodies, easy relaxed knees, and then slowly uncurl, base of the spine dropping down through the centre of the body, rolling all the way up to standing. And we're going to do that on the other side. So just taking our legs out wide again. This time, that right leg, foot facing forwards, left to the end of the mat. Bend the knee, knee roughly over the ankle, thigh nice and flat, hip bones facing forwards, up to the ceiling. Keep those arms close in, but don't let the shoulders lift. And just sink. Breathing deeply and sink. Then we're going to reach out. We're just going to slide that backwards and forwards. Feeling it into the body, hanging on to the centre. Next time we're over the knee, we're going to reach out. Drop that hand, reach up, dropping that right hip down, sinking deep. If you want to drop that bottom arm out of the way, or you can keep it as a prop. Keep that hip dropped, and we're going to slowly turn ourselves round. Hands to the ground for support, tucking that back toe under or dropping the knee. Thinking long through the head. Hand beside the inside of the foot, slide that arm up past the bent knee, open it wide, trying to have one long line from the heel of the bottom hand all the way to the fingers. Drop those hips. Twist a little bit more. Look further to the ceiling. And then slowly bring it back over. Plant the hands. Again, knees down is always the option. We're going to push that back leg out into the plank. Watch that we've got our bottoms not too low, not too high, just right. Open the backs wide through those ribs. Little bit of a press down, little bit of a lift. And into our down dog. Pushing that bottom, that tailbone to the ceiling, dropping those ribs forwards. Feeling as if our head and our chest are dropping through our arms. And just breathe here. Slowly walk those hands back. When you're ready, stay hanging over. Wherever is comfortable, just let those arms and those chests hang. Let that spine lengthen out, and then slowly uncurling all the way up. Oh, I know hairdressers are open, but still waiting with the long locks. And so we're going to come back for a little bit more stillness now after that moving about. I hope we're managing. We're coming back with the feet underneath us, nice and easy. I'm standing at the front of the mat because I don't want to hit the wall. And just very gently, you can do this facing forwards or facing the side. We're going to transfer that weight again onto that right foot and let the left one hang. So we need to get our balance. This is a point, if you need to be beside a wall or a bookcase or a table or a chair, this is fine. If you can catch that back foot, hang on to the top of the arch, so where the laces would be if you had trainers on. We're thinking about lengthening through the front of this left hip, so dropping the knee downwards and lengthening out that hip flex, so we can pull that foot a little bit closer to us for a bit more of a quad stretch. Just watch that the knee doesn't come forwards. Keep that knee dropping downwards and backwards. If we want a little bit more balance here, we can push that foot into the hand and pull it away from us. So it's going towards the back wall. That might be enough, or you might want to tip a little bit. Just going to bend the bottom knee, bring it all in and relax. So the same with the other foot. I'm going to do it this way for a bit more visibility for you. So first of all, finding the balance. Remember, if you need to hang on to something, thinking about using those legs to lift. Don't sink into the hip. Lift out, squeezing the glute a little bit. Catch that back leg. Nice and easy. So dropping down the front of the thigh, lengthening it out, squeezing that back toe towards your glute for a stretch through the front of the leg. And then if you want a bit more, pushing that knee and that foot away. Little balance there, counterbalance with the arm if you need. And if you want to tip forwards, there's a little bit you can go. Find the one that's right for you. Bringing it back up. Watch that knee doesn't drift out to the side. Stays right behind you in line. Oh, and after all that, we'll do some bends. So this is also about control and balance. And we're going to keep parallel feet under our hips. Reasonably close together for this one. Nice tall back. Imagine that book balanced on your head. So we're just going to breathe in and breathe out. But as we breathe in, we're going to bend the knees and stretch. So we could stick with this one, or we can let the heels come off, but only as much as they need to. So it's the knees bending. We're just going to go down a little way further as the heels come off. You go as far as you can manage. You might just get the balance with the heels off, or you might be able to go all the way down. Coming up, you press the heels into the floor to push you up. Let's just try 2 more. Keep breathing. Breathing down. Push up. Trying to keep that back absolutely vertical. One last one. Remember, if you don't want to go all the way down, just a little bit that you've got control on, and then all the way back up. And we're going to do a few more of these, but we're going to turn those toes out. So we're looking for a little diagonal. The knees are going to have to go diagonal as well. Keeping the body nice and tall. Again, little bend and breath. And up. And if you want to stay with this, that's absolutely fine. If you want to go a little bit further, pressing the heels back towards the floor together. You can go all the way down. Don't let those knees drop in. Don't let the bottoms push out to the back. Keeping a long line through the spine, as if someone was just lowering you on a rope. One last one, as little or as low as you want. And recover. Whew. So back into those feet together. A little bit more balance. I think I'm going to go sideways for this one. So feet closer together this time. Touching knees tight, and we're going to sink into our chair pose. So this is knees pressing forwards, bottom pressing backwards, but keep the weight central over the feet. We're trying to lengthen out the top of the spine. Arms may not be able to come all the way up, but we're trying to keep the chest lifted, but connected through the belly button. Watch it doesn't drop. We're not sticking those bottoms upwards. Long line. Sinking down. So here you've got an option. You might want to just take a heel off or balance with the toe off the ground. If you're feeling nice and comfortable, you could help that foot onto the knee and sit back into that one leg hip opener chair. So dropping that bottom down a little bit more. If at any point you need to put the feet down, that's fine. I'm going to bring the arms down, take the knee in and stretch it out behind. Nice long line. Drop deeper into that bend. Reach the arms backwards. I'm going to bring the knee up and come up to straight. And down. I'm going to take the other side. So bending, knees tight, down into that deep plie. Dropping back, lifting the chest, keeping the chin tucked in. We don't want to break the neck. If you want to, zip up that abdominal, release the foot or keep the toes on the ground. If you feel confident, sitting into that single leg, or if you need to hold on to that leg, that's an option. Sit a bit deeper, lift that chest, drop those shoulders, pull them down the back of the spine. Release the knee. This can go onto the floor if it needs to. Keep that toe on the back mat, or lift it into a nice long line. Sink a bit deeper. Breathe and sweep those arms back. Not like that. Again, if you want that toe on the floor or you want it up. Breathing and bringing the knee through and relax. So we're nearly there. Quite a tough one. Do take the options. Keep the toes on the floor where you need. Better to have a good balance than to wobble all over the place like me. So we're going to take a little bit of a wider stance again. Feet wherever is natural for you. And we're going to take those arms up this time. So we rocked onto one side at the beginning. We're going to rock again, but this time wider into that star position. So over. You can take this toe on the ground or off. A little bit of a give in the knees and the elbows, and then a reach up. Reach up. Make this as little or as big as you want. 2 more. And catch the balance on the last one. Little hold. And oh. So I said it was quite a lot about balance. Moving balance, standing balance. For this one, coming near to the end now, you'll be glad to hear, we're going to take eyes easy, maybe closed eyes. if that feels right for you. And just come back to that nice central standing position. Comfortable knees, don't feel they've got to be locked tight, but lift upwards out of the hips. Easy shoulders. So again, if we're comfy here, we're just going to rock to one side, rock to the other. So this might be the tiniest little movement, keeping like a pendulum in a clock, an upside down one, tipping from side, or the tick-tock on a metronome. If you want to, find your centre place. Weight on both feet with those eyes closed still. We're going to take one heel off. Lifted my right heel. We can stay here. We can open our eyes, or we can keep them closed and see if we can just lift those toes off. You might want to get your balance with the eyes open and then close them. Same with the other one. Lots of choice. Find that position. Can you keep your eyes closed? Do you need to open them to balance? And then close them to test that balance? Or can you keep them closed for the whole thing? Just in your own time, test both sides. And then we're going to hold that right knee up. We're going to open our eyes. Let's just stretch that leg out and take it for a little circle around and bring it back through. We might get 3 circles, depends on how tired those legs are and how that balance. Again, keep that toe on the floor, making a circle on the floor if you need it. And the other toe. Some of these little balance exercises are good just done on their own. Any time when you're standing, waiting for the kettle to boil, keeping nice and lifted. Feel there's a pressure upwards through the top of your head, and as if you were being lifted underneath your ears. One last circle. Back to the centre and down. Let's just take our shoulders. This mat's walking everywhere today. Shoulders nice and easy. We'll just lift and gently relax. And then we'll take forwards and back. Let's take a little curl over to the front and over to the back. Curl it around. Let the whole side of the body go, and that arm follows with it. And then the other one. Little forwards. Release it back, forwards, and roll it forwards, roll it back. And then we're going to take both of them, forwards and back. We're going to add those arms in a little bit. And curl the back a little bit. Curl and open. Curl and open. Lifting wide. Ease. Last one.
One last breath with the arms all the way up. And drop them down. Breathing high. And breathing out. Last time. And shake them out. Well, I hope that one was good. Hopefully good for fans of body balance as well. And a little bit of a stretch out. Still 10 other videos to choose from, so pick whichever one suits you. Different one each day, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed for us getting back together before too long. Everybody take care. See you soon.